Yeah, we are live. Okay, it started finally. Hi, Anna. It's like
Hi.
welcome on board. We are you are co-author in the AI Volume Everywhere Volume 2, and we are with the interview with you. Thank you for showing up. Would you mind introduce yourself?
Sure. Hello. Thank you for having me. Thank you for allowing me to be part of She Writes AI community and the book. I'm so honored to be part of this amazing group of women writing about AI. So yay. So my background, I am Brazilian, but I
Oh,
have been living here in the Miami area for a while now. I came here right after college. I graduated in economics, actually, but
me
I
too.
never. Right? Oh, nice! Yeah.
Yeah, we love
Um,
numbers.
right, but I never
Yeah,
worked with economy.
no,
Actually,
I
I
did.
went to
I did. I did.
marketing. Right now, in my case, I went to marketing, and back then I really liked digital marketing because you could like put things to test and get results so quickly, right? So that really like spoke to the experimental marketer in me back then. So I got started there, and I always liked to be a digital marketing manager, more of a generalist, because even back then I understood that the different activities of digital marketing were actually very interconnected in the back end.
Okay.
Right. So if you are just like looking at your box, you may be missing opportunities to make the whole system
True.
better, right? So that actually led me also into analytics because I wanted to see the results of my tasks. So I had to kind of make sure that everything was working properly so that I could like scratch my own itch, so to speak. And then from there, I ended up in Martech. And then in Martech, I realized that I could finally have the systemic, holistic view, right?
Okay.
Because nowadays technology is the foundation for all marketing activities,
Yes.
right? So if you see it through the technology, you have the opportunity to go and interact with the different activities. If they belong to different teams in a large organization, you have the opportunity to go and interface with them and learn with them and do
That's true.
projects with them, right? And you also have the opportunity to talk to other parts of the company. So I see technology and marketing technology as actually a way, a venue for marketers to be even more participative in all of the marketing activities they have.
It is very important chapter what you wrote because actually AI is shifting all the current metric we are used to do it. We are used to have it as benchmark for the last 10 to 20 years. It's changing everything, and I'm not sure that companies are adapting properly to the new
Hmm.
metrics because no one knows what are the new metrics yet. They are not well
Exactly.
defined. They are not well designed. So we are going to go through your chapter, and hopefully, if we have any questions. My first question to you, I'm going to read it. The smarter autocomplete ceiling. You argue that most marketing teams have spent 18 months using AI simply as a smarter form of autocomplete. Why is this approach of ceilings that prevent AI from being truly effective? And what is the compression that is now making it change urgent?
Yes, so that's a great question, right? So there I was actually citing Melissa. Now I forgot her last name, but she's in Substack. Melissa Reeves, sorry. So there I was
Okay.
citing Melissa Reeves, right? And she wrote about it, and it really resonated with me because of the following. I think that marketers, when we first adopt AI, we are very focused on increasing efficiency, right?
Mhm.
So the first thing that we do is like, okay, I go to the chat box and then I help myself in my area, right? But this is the ceiling because actually AI gives us the opportunity to rethink marketing as a system and
Yes.
understand where the frictions should be removed with AI and where the human friction, the good one, right, should be there to review, to make sure that the things should be the way they should be, to have accountability, right? So the ceiling here really is that you don't use AI for something that is bigger, to become that architect of marketing systems, and you're just using the chat box, right,
Yes,
to help
exactly.
you in that
To
like
break it
in the
down.
moment task and the operational.
Yeah, I'm sorry because there is a lot, ready-made prompt to make this and make that, and it doesn't work this way. It's not working by copy paste. And we are going to come into this because most people are selling this type of prompt, and it doesn't work. It works for you, but this doesn't mean it will work for me.
Exactly.
So my next question, which is very important, and you highlighted properly in your chapter, the context layer differentiator, because most people copy but doesn't and miss the context itself. You define the context layer as the space between data and engagement that answers what any of it means for a specific business. Why is this layer becoming a more important differentiator than the technical layer of marketing stack?
Yes, that's a very
Context.
good question too, because actually the agents, the AI agents will need that context in
Yeah.
order to make decisions, right? So you will need to have that information ready. And the thing is that for some time, right, we have been investing in the platforms, but not on that piece of the governance, of documenting, of making sure that the right information is in the right place so that it can be used. Right. And when it comes again to marketing technology, if we think about it, a lot of the context has to do with marketing, right? So if you are a marketer and you have been on a conversation defining what a loyal customer is versus just a user, congrats, you have done context in marketing, right? So that's what it is. You're already doing it. Marketers are already working on that context. So my point of view here is lean in, go and knock on doors and say, okay, the context is not only about the rags, which also, of course, it is, but not only, right? You have the technical layer, but then you need to have the knowledge layer, and the knowledge in marketing stays with the marketers, right? Because we're the ones like deploying the campaigns, etc. So that's what I mean. Like we already are agents of context. We just didn't know that yet. And we have to make sure that we channel that into the right place, right? So that we can make sure that yes, it helps build that foundation for the agents and for the platforms.
Okay. Do you see AI is helping people to make more context or to make them lose context? Like
I
AI
think
sometimes
both.
will give you is like lots of idea, and sometimes you get astray because of the iteration and things. How do you
Hmm.
make like a red line with when using AI to keep sure that the context, that your context is intact? You froze anyway.
Both, right? It can go both ways
Yes.
because AI that is not built on top of like organized data, right?
Mhm.
We'll lose the context, we'll lose the thread, and
Yes.
then weird things can happen, right? So the experience may be subpar. You may send the wrong information to the wrong person. It may have like other implications, right? You may not be able to track what happened so that you can prevent it from happening again. So the stakes are real, right?
Yes.
On the other hand, if that information is organized and everything is in place, right, and you are working with that and making that context always fresh, because you have to also understand that the context may change, right? Whomever, let's say, someone who is just a user today can become a loyal customer tomorrow, right? Would that be
Yeah.
properly recorded and updated in the proper context where the platforms and the AI agents can go and read from it and make the proper decision, right? So it can go both ways. What I'm seeing now is that usually, and that's like a very generic comment based on a lot of data and what I hear from a lot of people, is that we try to fix that with the platform first, right? It's like, let's put up,
Yes.
but then we realize that no, there is something else on top of the platform, right? That is the hard work and it's the ongoing work, so to
When we
speak.
let's I want to go more in the context because actually marketing is all about human contact. It's not about just numbers or
Mm-hmm.
formula or technology. Do you see context should always carry the human effect, or it should, because most people will put AI effect to the side. So how do you want it's like, if you, from your experience, I'm sure you see this error, and what is the pros and cons of using AI in the context and not removing or decreasing the human touch of it? in context, in making the context?
That's a
Because
very
this
good
is very
question.
touchy, and it's this line that can give you a result that really works, but it will mean nothing to the business. It will convert
Exactly.
nothing. Yeah,
Exactly. And actually can harm the business in a way, right? Depending on
a long run.
if right, if it goes to a customer and then they lose the interest in our brand, they unsubscribe, then you lost it, right? So I think that the challenge now, right, for marketers and for other professionals is to understand what to offload to AI. What do you automate with AI and what is not automatable? What needs the human, right?
The
That's what
man
I
and
said, like the
yeah,
good friction, the human that goes and makes sure that, yes, that's correct. That, yes, I understand the context behind this decision. So if I need to explain, if I need to replicate, I can. Or if I need to stop, I can, right? And that's, I think, this balance is it's hard to find, and it's brand new, as you mentioned, right? It's brand new, so I think a lot of professionals and companies are learning as they go,
yes,
right? Different
we
ways.
learned it.
Some
Yeah.
companies are more like,
Only if we pay attention to the new observation, because it's like there is a new friction now with AI, and it's not always, and sometimes it's synthetic, it's not real. So we need to, it's like in economics, we need to cancel the noises. So they have signal from noises. They need to understand if this friction is synthetic or it is a real one or a human one, so they can count on or rely on its data. And this is what comes with time. It's not, there is no fine line. This is it and this is not. My current question for you, actually, it is the risk of implicit knowledge. Much of business context, definition, authority, boundary, and trade-off currently exists only as an implicit knowledge in people's head. What happened to an AI output when these concepts aren't externalized into structure artifacts?
so that the the AI agent, for instance, wouldn't know, right? If that's just
Yes.
inside someone's head and it has not been properly documented, they wouldn't know. So they may make a decision without that piece of information,
Uh-huh.
right? So in this case, you may be replacing someone making a conscious decision with the largest array of information to a like automated system, so to speak. It doesn't have the same view, the same array
Or
of
the same meaning.
information.
It's like, yeah.
Oh, the
Would
same
you,
meaning,
or
exactly,
the same
because they
meaning?
don't know. They don't know
It's
exactly.
penetrating different markets with different culture should be also taken into
Oh
account.
my goodness, yes.
Yes. Do you have any example to give us, like this implicit knowledge, so that people can really relate it in terms of a concept wise? Like if you
Um,
give us, it's like, yes, a problem a company would have if it doesn't have this implicit knowledge
oh, okay. So, well,
in from
different
your head.
things.
Yeah.
Yes, no, different things can happen, right? So you can, for instance, be cultural insensitive, for instance, in a market, right? So
Okay.
let's say you have a rollout of like consumer product that you are doing different languages, and then all of a sudden in one market, one language, you are being like completely
Off.
disrespectful or off, right? It's not landing at all. And you are feeling so like, yes, automated, so I could launch in all those languages, I could scale, but
Yeah.
if it
Yeah.
doesn't land, right? Because the context was not there again, because we
Yes.
just like use the technology without that implicit um
Meaning,
experience and meaning, exactly the meaning that you can only have like with lived experience a lot of
because
times,
most
right?
people, when they do the marketing, they make the target audience, and the target audience, if it's Western, the message is going to fall off anywhere else.
Exactly.
Yes. So it's like you need to adapt it. So let's say the implicit knowledge, it means a kind of adaptation in a way or another to
Exactly.
the market you are entering, which is gonna be a good tip actually to understand this, because AI, there is no universal language, or there is no one thing to say all over the place. No, you mentioned again is the authoring versus configuring, which is actually a very important point. You list 4 critical artifacts for context architecture: customer definition, decision criteria, taxonomy, and boundaries. Why it is impossible for this to be purchased or configured out of the box from a vendor? Explain the concept first, because yes,
All
you make
right.
these 4, they are yours, and why and the importance of them.
Of course, because this type of definition depends on how you run your own business.
The
No
vision.
vendor can give that to you ready, right? They can help you. They can help set up. They can help you like think through it. But that knowledge is yours, right? What a customer means to a business, the business knows, right? What a loyal customer is depends on the business, depends on what you sell, buy inside, a lot of things that only the business knows, right? So
Yeah,
this idea that I'm gonna buy the platform and right off the box, it's gonna be there for me with all this context, all this rich
yeah,
information and meaning. Well, no, not really, because if it is, like, you are like everybody else, because what comes out of the box
copycat.
is the average at best, right?
Yes.
There is no
So
other way. Anything else will need to be done upon your information, your request. So,
okay, let's mirror it, or swap the shoes here. If someone, because now AI is helping many people, especially with graphic designer and many marketers, to sell their expertise on how to help. So it's like if they are offering a service, it's like what's the first thing they should take into account to help like this gonna be client or the marketing company to use their service or their prompt or whatever they are doing for marketing. I believe it's going to be the first thing to take is mission and vision adapted per,
mhm,
per customer. Because it's like if a company doesn't have its own mission and its own vision where it wants to go or where it's going to position yourself, they won't be able to buy. And even there is all the vendors around, it's going to be average for them. Is this is what you are
exactly,
trying to say? It's not gonna be. It has to be configured per business. This
exactly,
configuration.
exactly,
Okay.
exactly. Take into consideration your business goals, right?
Yes.
Because one company business goals will differ from the other, even if the same industry, right? They may
Yes,
have
even with the
different.
missions, is like I want to serve this kind of audience. I want to have niche in this one. They need to understand and respect that it is not. They cannot take technology as face value, and
Exactly,
configure it as a tool to make them reach what they already have in place, not to restructure from the beginning. The problem is like with mimicry, is like when we see one model works, everyone copy it, but he doesn't understand that it is not just the model; it's the
exactly,
nuances, the details behind it.
exactly. That's where the opportunity is really, right?
Yes,
So,
and
and I think everyone is discussing like the model, and actually the differentiating maybe on the context, right? On the meaning.
I use this library and it's gonna create this effect. It is not like that. It you have to sit with client, and this is comes actually my next question and my the next point in your chapter, the customer test. The marketable customer test. You mentioned that most instructive question in a massive unification project was simply what count as a consented user. Why do even simple definition like this often fall apart when moving across different market or brands? And I would
Yes.
love you give us example here
Oh
because this
yes.
is very
So
important.
yeah, so here I can give an example, right? So if you don't have like a governance, a global governance, so to speak, right? What one brand or one market may consider to be a consented user may different from the other, right?
Mhm.
Because a consented user, yes, I have the consent, the
Okay.
opt-in to receive market information. But what else do I need? What else do I consider a consented user? Is that all it takes? No, we also need the email address. Okay, so it's the email address and the opt-in all it takes. No,
Yes.
that in this market we also want to collect such and such piece of data because we need that minimum set of data in order to do a good activation, in order to engage. So if there is no
To reach
one
out.
definition, right,
Mhm.
like a minimum common set of a minimum denominator, for everybody, then it can vary. And then when you are looking across brands or across markets, then it makes it harder for you to understand what you are comparing against what. Right. So that's why it's important to have that governance, to have that context, because the context can be okay, consented end user to us is one from who we have the email address, the consent, this, and that. So it's for everybody, right? So yes. So then if you have like agents or automations, they can run throughout those different brands and markets because they can understand what a consented user is through all of them.
There is, this terminology we always, this definition for marketing, we say marketing, it is the art of separating people's money from themselves.
True.
You- Marketing is all about like a hidden layers that there is no transparency in marketing and honest marketing. I admire companies when they say what the brand is and not camouflage their fault or whatever, but they just keep it until you uh ask for it or you reach out for it.
Hmm.
But it's like transparency is always a fact that doesn't this layer doesn't exist much in the market in the communication. So it's governance. So people it's like will always say we'll refuse or we'll opt out. And this put a lot of like navigations technique on the marketing to capture not just the consent, the attention of the customer, which is
Hmm.
very important. And I find it a very it's a hard task. Actually, like the span of attention to get someone's attention is like 5 to 10 seconds. It's like if I receive a newsletter of someone is like yes or no in exactly my
Hmm.
decision is gonna be fast as 10 seconds. It's not easy for marketing now with all this variety and with all this influence that they get paid even for nothing. It's like I'm not gonna say for nothing. They doesn't test the product. They just promote whoever pays them. And this put another layer on marketing, another pressure on marketing or marketer who have good product, right or wrong.
Well, I would say
Yeah.
this what you described does exist, right? I'm not gonna say that it
Yes.
doesn't, but it's one side of the coin, right? The other one is there is honest communication, even when it's sales communication, even when it's marketing. Marketing is yes, there is a promotional side about like making people part with their money for sure, but there is also like oh, I'm solving an issue, I'm solving a problem, right?
Yes.
To my consumer, to my user, it also exists, right?
This is true, but it
You
depends on
also
the
have
type
a
of business and industry.
and that's exactly why you cannot find those things out of the box because it
Yes.
depends. Right? It
This,
depends on the business. It depends on the company. It depends on the product. Some companies have products that pretty much sell themselves. So the role of a
that's true.
marketer
That's true.
there is very different because you're going to be a supporter to the product, right? You're going to be that person like really supporting that experience and making sure that you are mining the information and signals to make that better. But it's not like you don't have to push the product on someone because the product sells itself once you use it, let's say. Right? So this also exists. So the both things exist, right? So I think as we move forward, right? I think that the second type, the one that really wants to solve problems, is the one that may have more longevity, right? In careers and more opportunities and maybe uh, I don't know if I I can say that, but may not be as easily replaced by AI, right? Maybe because the
This
person
is
is
very
there.
important, and I totally agree with you because actually, there is, especially when it's marketing, you need to touch something with me. It's like something in my decisions isn't my need, or like if it's greed, is like what is going to complement me, what is going to do for me. So if you manage to touch or to talk to this part that is triggering my decision making, you win. So, and this AI cannot do it because this is a social intelligence that we don't have any data to train AI models for it. It is not arithmetic. Yeah, and it cannot be controlled by
Exactly.
formula. It has to be with verbals, with cues, with eye contact. You look at me and you understand if I'm at ease, if I enjoy what you're saying. And these things is like, I know people who can sell, believe me, the air we are breathing. They can sell it here. They are talented, and there is talent, and there is a skill. The timing
Exactly.
skill, the choosing of the words, the behaviorals, is there is science behind it, but there is
Mm-hmm.
still a talent that some people born with it, I guess. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. You mentioned this is going to lead us to the next point, which is configured versus orchestrated stack. You make a structural distinction between a stack that is configured and one that is orchestrated. How can a stack appear competent on a platform level while it is falling to provide a coherent end-to-end to customer experience? And this is a very important question because as economists, we have a lot of formulas that works on paper, but in reality fall apart.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
So
it's
here
like
again is all about
math
making sure
works, but
that you right. So it's all about
action doesn't. Yeah,
totally. Totally. So again, it's all about making sure that you have that governance, right? That you have that process, that everything is running in a way that if you need to replace the platform, you
yeah,
can without like breaking the system completely,
it
right? So
is true.
that's the idea.
But orchestration will never happen without a proper definition of company mission and vision and where they want to go and who they want to acquire, which part of the market share they are looking
Oh,
for.
absolutely.
It's like some
Absolutely.
people is like whatever it gets me. And this is a wrong approach. It's
Oh,
like,
completely. No, you have to start with your business goals, right? Understanding what you want to do,
yes,
who
to
your customers.
be
So
really structured.
the basics are
Foundational.
more important than ever. So
Yeah, the foundation.
marketers, the foundations are more important than ever, ever, ever. So that's why it's important also for marketers to be involved in conversations about pricing, about distribution, right? About customer service, everything, because you can get so much information, so many insights there that you can use, and you can be a provider of insights as well, right? So that again, when you are orchestrating, when you're organizing the platforms or the agents, they have a solid foundation to work from, right? And it's not just like I'm setting
Yeah,
them free and seeing what comes up. Yes, you can be experimenting and you can test, but even within the test, you have to have very clear parameters for you to understand if it was successful or not,
it
right?
is
So
true. Yes.
so you need to have that, like the foundational understanding of marketing is getting even more important, not less. I think people are saying, oh no, it's getting less important because you have all the technology. No, it's getting more important because you have the technology. It's the other way around.
It is true. How do you think is like, I think the configure versus orchestration can help people understand what is a trend and what is a real signal to the
Mm,
state, because this can really be the defining line between the two, because it will work. You configure something and it will work and it's going to give you just a trend, while orchestrate something and it's going to work and it's going to give you stable decision, and it's like an action with it, not just a trend or a
exactly.
hype, like the
Like,
foam on it.
except when you orchestrate, you see that piece of like that platform and that piece of data within a system,
Hmm.
within something bigger than it, right? And it allows you to have different levers to pull. And when you just configure it, like I configure one platform, this is it. And then I go to the next one, this is it. But you don't necessarily make the connection. You don't connect the dots. And it's the connection of the dots where
This is
the
what
I believe the orchestration really happens. Right?
this
It's
is where
not
the
on
real
the
observations. Yes, you can really get a pattern from observing something, not just from reading kind of report. And this is actually, you say, the power of the themes. Your
hmm
research shows a 15% reduction in customer acquisition cost was achieved through orchestration. Why was this success a property of the themes between function rather than the individual performance of a content of data team? Like, now we are getting lots of reports. You just click, analyze this data, and it's going to give you reports. So it's like how this helps
no,
in
I
orchestration.
know, but it was not about the reporting here, right? The reporting was the last piece here.
This is the last piece, yes, but it's like,
It was the last
well,
piece.
yes, the power of the themes is like it seems something you get. like from research or from whatever, you get a function that is giving you a numbers, but it is not working. It's not going to help you, and sometimes it does.
Hmm. So in in my case, right, what I wanted to explain in my
Hmm.
chapter was that when you work within teams and then you share that understanding travels, right, throughout the platforms and throughout the different teams and documentations that you have, right? And that allows for you to then, okay, I have this type of data, and this data not only sits here, but it can also help that activity there. And
Okay.
if I use in that activity there, then I can save money on my acquisition cost, for instance,
So you expand the
right?
information or to make it more like useful or like to work in different area so it can fit properly in growth.
It's more about really connecting the dots here, because sometimes you may be in a company where you don't understand how the data you were taking care of or the process you were taking care of can benefit the other processes.
Would you give us an example? Because this
So
is going to be in a big enterprise, as like I can see with many departments, and like for example, Microsoft that work in silos. Sometimes they can share the data from Copilot users or from Word Microsoft user, and this can be helpful. But this is going to be in only efficient in big enterprises. On a small level or small scale,
no, but on a small scale as well. So let's use an example. Let's talk about like a small e-commerce company, right?
okay. Hmm.
And then all of a sudden you are getting product reviews that are like really, really bad. Right? All of a sudden it's like
Reviews.
awful, and you are like pulling your hair out, like, is it customer service? Is that? And then you realize, you like, a marketer goes and digs in a little bit and realizes that actually the problem is with the delivery of the product. The people that were giving a very
Okay.
bad review
So
didn't
you make
receive it on time.
surgical diagnosis, as you say.
Right?
Yeah.
So, but
Okay.
if the
I got
marketer
your point
didn't
now.
dig in, if someone didn't connect those dots and said, you know what, let me also
We should move
check
on.
if there was an issue with
Yes.
delivery, because that may have played a role here.
Yes,
We
but
would be spinning, like the company would be spinning its wheels, thinking
it's true.
about like maybe it's like the customer service, I need more agents, and no, actually no. You need to deliver on time. Period. Go fix the delivery, and then the
Yeah.
NPS and everything else will go like up, and it's gonna be beautiful. So those are the examples, right?
Yeah, I got your
And
point
it
now.
can
So
fit in whichever company. And sometimes you are so, even in small companies, the marketer can be so in their lane, like, oh, I am paid media, or I am SEO, or AEO, or whichever acronym, right? And they don't see sideways, and that's where the opportunity is. That's the orchestration, right?
mm,
That's the context. Everything
the
that we
devil's in
discuss goes
details.
across. Exactly. Everything that we discuss goes across those things for either small or large companies.
It is true. It's just to do a surgical diagnosis in terms of what's happened of the process to break it into layer or a function, as you mentioned, is like to understand what is happening and where is the loophole that is affecting the other. Because I believe, do you believe in marketing? Do you have the domino effect? Because if you one campaign is fall, many other will fall. Many other aspects, like with your branding, your positioning,
Oh
your marketing.
yes. Yes, I think so. I think so. I think there is the positive domino effect,
There
right?
is
Where
positive
you
and
get
negative.
a
It can
negative.
be this, yes.
Exactly.
It
As
goes
with
both ways, but
everything,
it's yes. You can make
right?
one campaign is like, and you get everything. You you will you will amass a lot of benefit, and sometimes it's like it's gonna be taken away from you, loss of benefit as well. Okay, and my next question is going to be the credibility gap in reporting, and this is actually what we mixed it with the previous question. The reporting is like we have a lot of AI models that generate reports. How to read them and how to understand the credible information, including them.
That's a very good question. So, first of all, you should know your numbers or be very familiar with them before using AI to generate reports so that you know if it makes sense or not. Number one,
Understands them is
right?
like, is it
If
real or
someone
not?
needs to check and say, okay, it makes sense or no, it's completely out there. Second is we have now with AI the possibility to generate almost endless dashboards, right? The
Yes.
possibilities out there. But a dashboard is only as good as when it can provide you with action items that you can act upon, right? So, okay, I'm measuring those metrics. Can you act upon them? If you see them changing over time, can you act upon them? And upon acting on them, will you change that metric? Will you achieve the business objectives? Right. So sometimes I think that we take the dashboard for the objective, right? And the
And we
dashboard is
take
a
it
way to
at face
see
value. This is it.
exactly. This is
The
it. I got the
dashboard needs it.
dashboard. It's green. Yay. But well, does it connect to the overall business? Or if the data isn't green, can you do something about it? Right. So I think those are the criteria that marketers should always use. And this was true before AI. Don't get me wrong. Again, the
It's true.
foundations, right? This is all, everything that
And
we're
then,
discussing here existed forever and has been important forever. But it's just that now AI makes it urgent as well, right? It's not only
it's
important.
true.
It's like if you don't do it, you're going to spend all this money on the models and then it's not going to give you the output that you want, right? Or
Exactly.
it's not going to bring the benefits that the organization expects. So that's why it made it urgent, but it was already true. Right? Nothing that we're discussing here
Always.
is like, oh my goodness, this is
Yes.
so like now out there. No. So that's important.
Yeah.
Let's go back to like, let's make sure
The
that we have
basics. It's like you don't
dashboards.
have to reinvent the wheel. It's like just to stick to the basic. It
Exactly.
works. And STEM works.
Exactly.
Yes. Okay,
Exactly.
talking.
Just see things
Yes.
from like a strategic point of view. And then you can use AI to help connect the dots. But again, you have to be the orchestrator, right?
It's true. Yes, so true. Okay, talking about dashboard because this is an important thing, especially people now are vibe coding and creating their dashboard. What is the main functions that is like if you someone is having a small business and he would like to create and connect everything, what is the major items that it should be in his dashboard? Like churn, retention. It's like,
It
is there
depends.
any
It
metric
depends on the
important that it has to be there?
I think
It's
it
like
depends on the
basics, like
business.
it depends
Right?
on the
It depends on the business.
the
It
industry
depends
standards.
on the objective. Exactly. What I would actually I would go the other way around. What shouldn't be there? Right? So what shouldn't be there? We shouldn't have the vanity metrics. So
Ah, this
metrics
is
that are
important.
like, oh, it's beautiful for marketers and it's like makes a lot of sense to me and makes my job looks amazing, but it doesn't mean anything else to anyone. Right? If
Yes,
I show it to the other stakeholders, they don't get it. Right? So let's
only they
avoid the
wasn't
vanity
about it.
metrics.
Yeah.
Exactly. And always have context. Again, context. Always have context with our metrics because sometimes you come with a metric and then the stakeholder will look at the number and say, is this good or bad? I don't know. Am I good or am I
Yes.
like, beyond, below the benchmark? So you need context, you need benchmarks, you need all the information, right? Or you need a time frame to give so that people understand what happened in a given time frame versus the previous time frame, comparing. So you need that context. So no vanity metrics and always make sure that the metrics, the important ones, have context so that anyone that is looking at that dashboard understands, yes, it's doing good.
Yes.
No, it's not. What should we do?
Like
Right?
in economics, we say cut the fat. Like cut the fat.
Cut the fat, exactly.
Cut the fat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
because
cream it.
yes, it's like especially with this when you're talking to stakeholders, is their time is like you cannot just go on and explain numbers that means nothing to any department. That's so true and a very important point to highlight. Okay, my current question is like you mentioned the intention economy. As we move toward an intention economy where AI assistant, mediate, discovery, traditional metric like clicks and impression are dissolving, how can a marketer translate AI discovery dependence into a structured business risk that a CFO can actually act on it?
Yes, yes. That's a hard one, right? Because we are losing the clicks.
Yeah.
And I come from digital marketing, and it was all about the clicks, right? It was
It's
all
all
about
about clicks and
capturing that
clicks.
intention. Yes, all about like, let's capture the signals, the intention. But nowadays, with a lot of privacy concerns, not everybody wants to be tracked and they should consent, right? Any click, any behavior that are capturing should be also consented. So you have two types of consent at least, right? One to receive marketing communication, and another one to be tracked, right? So that we
Mhm.
know where you clicked, etc. But now you, on top of this, you throw AI agents that may talk to your website and you wouldn't even know what
It is
happened and what
synthetic
took
or it's
place.
real. Yes.
Exactly, exactly. So it's really challenging, right? Because marketers will need to have conversations with CFOs where click or click through
To
or
get
those
budget.
metrics exactly are not part of that conversation. So you have to ask for money without having those hard metrics, so to speak, to offer in counterpart,
Yes,
right?
it's true. But it's like, would you elaborate more on the intention economy? Because
Yeah,
this
so
is
that
like, I know the extractive economy. I know we are into creator economy, but intention economy for some people, maybe if you could explain it more.
sure. So I'm here talking like from the point of view of the marketer, right?
Okay.
So the intention is like, okay, we have the intention, but we don't have the click, we don't have the action or the behavior, right? So we have just the intention out
Yes,
there
of the customer
behind.
that he can see our product or our campaign, but he doesn't uh, that doesn't move as an action
Or
yet.
I don't know what exactly he searched for. I don't know which
Okay. Oh, okay, I
question
got it.
was there, and I don't know what the LLM model showed them. I don't know. I wouldn't know. They don't. You don't know that information. It's not there. But I know that there was this intent of like coming to the site, etc. So it's very important to always give people a reason to interact with your brand, to ask for
Yes,
your brand, to go and type your brand into the LLM model instead of just typing the category, right? The
yes.
product category or the service that they're looking for. So that investment in branding, even though it may not be as easy to quantify as the digital marketing, the extraction economy, it becomes more important now because you,
Yeah.
you are losing the signals of the extraction economy. And you still need to go and be there for your customers. So, right? So those are the conversations that marketers will need to have, and they will need to go to their counterparts, to their colleagues, to the other teams, and have those. I think they have need to have those frank conversations. Like, this is how it is now. How is it that as a company we get to our objectives without depending on what we were depending before, for instance?
Okay, I have a bit technical question here. It's like, how do you see the difference between marketing to make branding, to brand themselves, or to make themselves, to culture themselves? Like, for example, iPhone is a culture, and it creates like people who will, no matter whatever the benefit of others, no, we are loyal. It's like culture create loyalty blindly, and branding is going to have the competition. If I find somewhere else, I will move on. How do you see any shift or like, or any mechanisms that is some company use culture as than branding, or that still how marketing decide, let's go with this product as a culture, and let's decide with this product as a brand?
Hmm.
Because
I
it's like,
don't.
let's talk about Apple, or for example, Microsoft was a monopoly. They force like the Office or the Windows, and we are stuck with it. We can. This is monopoly. But for example, Apple created and Google, they create culture, and they become a verb like Google it. It's like it's an iPhone. They become. It's not just it's like it's like Nike it. It's become a verb. They are beyond brand. They become a culture.
Yes. So, but they do become a culture. They become part of the culture, right? They
Yes.
become like a
Yes.
movement.
Like
But
Coca-Cola, for
let's
example. It's like
exactly,
it's
exactly. But
embedded, it's like in launch in everything, despite its very bad product. but they non-branded themselves. They embed themselves in our people
Exactly.
as a culture. Like you can, it's like a definition. You can't have
But
like Christmas without them. Like, you can't have you cannot have a meal or a gathering without a bottle of Coca-Cola on it. And no matter how you want to be healthy, it will be there because some people want it.
yes, but let's see what came first, the culture or you being able to find Coke everywhere, like a very good distribution,
You tell
right?
me because
Because,
like they
because
are
even with the
successful in
culture,
marketing. Like
yes,
we
no,
study their cases a lot. Is like, and although I don't drink Coca-Cola or any fizzy water. It's like I'm against them since I was a child even. But I was rare. It's like I
yes.
prefer water and juice, proper fruit juice. But it's like I study their cases and I don't understand how people fall for it. And everyone, like even Marlboro is a cigarette, they will have party and gangs. People will become a member. It is like there is a membership. How do they establish that?
Yeah, so I believe that I've never worked with such iconic brands. So here's my just my 2 cents as a marketer, right? But it's usually a combination of things. We see them we when we see those brands, we have this idea of like marketers in that
Yeah,
room, like thinking with that, how do
like
we make it a
witches.
culture, like
Yeah.
witches? But actually it's a whole process and it includes
Mm.
especially the experience, right? Because I can come and create a hype, and then you go to the grocery store and product's not there, then what? Or worse yet, you use the product or the service and it sucks. It's awful, right? Apple would never be an Apple if the product was not good, if the experience was not good, if like
But
using
Coca-Cola survived and their product sucks.
no, but the
Marlboro
product
survived despite the cancer and effect and damage, and
no,
they
but
survived.
Marlboro is not the cultural that it was, the cultural icon that it was. Not anymore.
No, not
Marlboro is
anymore.
not.
Simply because they stopped paying to legalization
No,
to prevent and all this cancer fighting, and we managed to ban them. But it took years.
exactly, exactly. So see the code cost whichever way, if the product's
Like
good or not,
Apple has
right?
good products and performance and stability, but it's like for me, I believe that AI, and this is a question for you, is going to bring lots of products that sucks, and they are going to have a short tempered or short life. They are going to be like we call them a quick gardening.
Mm,
They are gonna come and get, and they will be bygones, bye bye. So if
exactly,
yes, and this is going to get into to wrap up here is like you need to have a context. And you mentioned agent of context role is a refusal to hand this work to vendors or consultants. If a senior marketer doesn't take ownership of this layer today, who or will end up defining the business logic by default? And this is actually what I loved about your chapter because you wrap it up. You need to have agent of context. You need to have your own like fingerprint, your own touch, your own taste.
exactly.
Otherwise, we are gonna be copy and they will design everything. It's gonna be another skill or a feature and normalize it. Yeah.
Exactly. Or then you were gonna be doing work that was defined by other people as a marketer, or you won't have any say on the business objectives that is part of your day to day, right? So go out there and lead those conversations. I think it's a huge opportunity for marketers to be there leading those conversations, present themselves as the agents of context they already are. Again, marketers are already discussing this. It's just never been like properly documented for the most part, right? But it is there. The context already exists. Let's make sure that marketers are the ones really taking the opportunity here and leading those conversations.
So to wrap up, if you have any tips to give it to someone or a small let's start with small company that are trying to get into or marketing their product, what tips you will give them? Like
Goodness.
small company
Start.
just starting or a service or like someone with a skill or expertise or knowledge and he would like to offer it as a service.
So I think that first of all, know your customer very well. Right, again, the basics. Get to know your customer well, understand the pain points, right? Design for those pain points. That's very important. So I think that should always be the beginning, right? So hopefully it's not like, oh, now I have this product and service and let's see what it does. No, I created this product and service with that pain point and that person, that professional in mind,
Exactly.
right? And then you go from there. Go through the basics, understand your customer, understand your price point, understand your distribution, even if it's digital, understand where should you be, right?
Mhm.
Which distribution points should you be? Where should you be seeing the product? And does it require experimentation as well, right? Demos, etc. So be on that foundation first, and then after understanding this foundation, then you layer media, right? Then you layer like content. Then you can layer a lot of like channels and tests and campaigns. But if you don't have that basic piece done, or if you are not working actively on it and testing against it, then it's going to be harder, right? Because then you may misfire a little more because you may not be talking to the right people or may not be in the right places.
Okay, what the for people who does not have enough budget to move into a market or penetrate a new market, do you have any tips for them to start with to get the water before is they are going to raise money, or because we are all marketing ourselves, whether our marketing, our confidence,
Yes,
our presence, our energy,
for sure.
we are in constant marketing
For sure.
personas. Yes. So the vibe doesn't go away. So how can you help someone who's just starting? Because it makes me sad that these people who sell these courses for thousands of dollars or even 500 or and you'll get nothing. You're gonna just hear read slides, but
Hmm.
actionables. It's like it doesn't.
Yes.
It defines like you're reading a textbook. This is what it needs, but it doesn't show you how to do it. So do you have any tips for them for someone who just have a product, let's call it a service, someone who is laid off and decided to lend his expertise to market? How he should start or how to penetrate this saturated market with good ones
Mm.
with variety. You know, there is a lot of everything.
Well, it depends on the market, right? There is still niche. You can still find a niche. There are so depending on what you're going to sell as a service, right? You may find a more crowded market or a little less crowded
Yeah,
market.
it
So,
depends.
right? Because there are niches for everything nowadays, and there are also people that have very broad services, right? Like improve your life. That's very broad. Everybody can
Yeah.
improve their lives. In my case, I talk to people that work with marketing technology,
Mhm.
right? So it's more focused, so to speak. Um, so what I would say is, understand your audience, understand the pain point that you can solve. First of all, right? So that's the
Mhm.
most important part because after that, you can then like present yourself, you can create your content, you can go and right
Yeah.
see where your audience is and be there, right? On social media or in events, whatever. But if you don't understand exactly what you bring to the table and how you can help others, then it's going to be much harder, right?
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of people may not have thought of it yet, especially people that like have full-time jobs and all of a sudden
Mhm.
they see themselves in that situation. So my advice to them would be like don't wait. Start
Mhm.
developing your voice, start developing your methodology, right? Start
Okay.
seeing how you can bring value to other
It's a great
people.
share.
Exactly.
It's a great
Ideally, you
share.
have like an approach because everybody has an approach on how they do things at work, right? So that approach can help other people. Maybe you're thinking, oh, everybody already does it. No, not necessarily. So think of those things that you add to your processes, to your work, and how is it that you can help others, right? And that can become that foundation. But don't wait. You can start if possible, right? Start that while you're employed. Of course, you need to understand exactly how that would work in your situation. There are many things to consider, but ideally, you would get started before, right? And you would take that opportunity to test your ideas, to test your methodology, to test your approach, right? So that you are iterating and learning without like that much pressure of, oh my goodness, I have to get it right, and etc. And then you, when the time comes, if it comes, etc., then you are better prepared, right? So that would be my suggestion. But other than that, again, get to know what you bring to the table, get to know how you help people, and go from there. That would be my suggestion.
Okay, I have a question from your experience. Do you see the coming trend is going to be this agent is doing the friction from people? Like, it's going to be synthetic friction from now on? Or are they preparing us for this type of agent to take decision on our behalf? Or do you believe that it's going to be regressed and really contained to certain clients who are extremely busy or to certain aspects only? Do you see it's going to grow, or it's going that human will we are going to go to the malls and we'll decide for ourselves? We are going to open and see if I want this brand or not. Do you think we are
I,
going
I
to give our agency to agent to decide for the
no, I don't think so. Or better yet,
from
may
your
depend on the
experience? Like, I'm sure
purchase.
you've seen a lot of data, and because they are preparing the market for them to be synthetic friction and instead of human friction, and they are taking our agency and ourselves from us. As if we are getting out step by step under name of innovations. Do you see
But
it
then you do,
growing?
yeah, no, I see the trend. But on the other hand, so our company is going to always just like compete in price. What is the differential? If people are just like using a bot to the procurement, and some purchases may be like that, like this procurement. I have my toothpaste coming every month, and
Yeah,
to be honest, this existed before AI, right? But it may be that
procurement.
I automate with an agent. There are some purchases that I would never automate to that point. I need to be involved,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And there are even like brands where I want to make sure that that's the brand. I chose the brand. I don't care if the agent will go, I don't care, right? The agent may help me just like search for a better deal, help me negotiate on price or what have you, but I decided the brand. And that's the beauty, right? The
The
brands that are
agency.
because it's the agency and it's
Agency.
the agents that benefits the brand, right? In
It
this
is.
case, as a marketer, talking as a marketer. So if you have a brand that people search for it,
Mm-hmm.
right, that won't take away. As a customer, I would say that there are purchases that I would not, they are not procurement, and they should not be treated as such because for me, an AI agent is akin to procurement, right? You put something there that has
It's preparing.
criteria and
Yes.
it's gonna be checking, but it cannot like I Jess Graham, she writes here on Substack as well. She talks a lot about it. Like this type of process takes away serendipity. And serendipity is part of the
Yes.
discovery process. It's so much fun. What about the fun of you like stumbling upon something that you love?
It's
Right?
yeah.
Finding something that was never part of your repertoire to begin with, right? Something new. The agent cannot do that for you. Even if you say, "Let's go create," no, it's not the same. So I,
So
I
basically,
think
we need, yes, to define if I'm what I'm going to buy has a minimum requirement and give it this context to the this is
exactly,
my if give it a
exactly.
minimum requirement in a product with efficiency in terms of price. So I'm going to give him this parameter and go for it. And the other product that it has me or like, for example, clothes in or like anything that is not just personal that is going to affect your life in a way. I totally agree, but it's like we touch a lot of things, but this is more in advertising and algorithm. Do you believe that the algorithm now it's pretty abrasive toward us? It is not the marketing or the product, but it is the medium, which is the platform that many company are unfortunately they have no way to run away from it, is abrasive towards the customer.
Mm-hmm.
It's like how they invaded like our clicks and our mouse, the privacy, and how they bombard us in terms they create us in a personas. So we they sell us to you for the companies. Do you see the algorithming with AI is getting now to neutral or is still biased?
I would say it's too biased because actually what you were describing already existed before AI,
It's always before. I'm saying
right?
it's going to be amplified by AI, or it's going to
Yes. No,
yeah.
it can be totally amplified by AI. And I think the
The
first
problem is
move
going to
will
the
be the
maxing.
amplification. Yes, the
Yeah.
maxing. And then again, but that's not the marketing because again, it's going to give you decreasing returns. That's the
Yes.
thing, right? Until recently, there was this playbook, so to speak, where it was worth it, right? But not anymore. It's not anymore, especially because with AI, everyone can do it. So you're going to like flood everything and then nothing will grab anyone's attention at a point, right?
And
So
people are
it
going to get
starts
bored. It's like I've seen it before. It's like
exactly. Exactly. So it's going
yeah.
to get decreasing returns very quickly. So it's not worth it. Like as a marketer, I would say it's not worth it going that route. Like working the foundation and then layer stuff on top of it. Then you have a more solid way of really like testing and being iterative and learning with your customer.
Okay, I have one more question because I know I'm taking too much time from
No
your time.
worries.
It's like when it comes to marketing, scarcity, does it play a role? It's like if you could give me example with this product, we need to like this is a strategy we are going to adopt to make it scarce so people can buy the price we want. And with this product, we cannot make it scarce. We have to make it available. And this is going to be the strategy. How to define which product get into this strategy that fit best and this strategy that fit best for the scarcity one?
Depend on the company, right? A lot of the scarcity we're seeing, for instance, you can see in luxury companies, luxury brands,
Like cars,
right?
yeah,
Like
like
Hermes, no, like
Porsche,
the bags,
Lamborghini, and they
Hermes, the Hermes
or
bags
a,
or the
a
super
mess.
luxury cars, right? So
And
you have like 100 that they create per year, and that's it. You either get it or not. You're either in or you're out, right? Very
so
easy to be out because they're only on 100 per year produced, whatever, right? But then those are like super produced. You have the experience. You're gonna have the product, right? It's gonna come with the experience from the get go, from how you were
spotless.
attending. Everything is gonna
Yes,
right
spotless.
again,
Yeah,
exactly spotless, and it's gonna make you feel like super special. That's the whole thing, right? So again, marketing can help with the
the
advertising
context.
part of
Yes,
it, but
yes.
if the experience is not there,
Hmm.
it won't go very far, right?
Yes,
So
from your
versus
experience,
companies that
yes.
are not like on the scarcity side. So it's really, I think, a business decision before being a marketing decision.
Okay, so let's wrap up here. So your main point in your chapter is actually agent of context, and to have a context that is relatable to the your mission and vision and what actually your product is. It's like they should be actually in tandem, not it's just like everyone on its own is like talking to each other. They have to be in one page, in one paragraph, in one sentence. So, from your experience, do you have any example to tell us? Okay, I'm sure that there is a lot of you compare yourself with whatever in the market, not for your company, but it's like in general. To give us an example, this company did a good marketing strategy, positioning themselves, and they failed properly. Like we have two examples of the good and the bad. To give them like, in our back head is like, oh, we don't want to follow this trajectory. Is like a lesson to remember.
So
Using the AI with the new marketing.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. So I'm going to use a little older example, right? But I
Yeah.
remember one from Air Canada, right,
Okay.
where the the AI agent was not properly trained on the context, so it gave away a discount that it couldn't give away. And it was the case of someone in bereavement. So someone that lost someone in the family had to travel, contacted Air Canada for that trip. And imagine the bot said, yes, we can do it. And then when the person went to buy the ticket, they couldn't do it. They couldn't honor that. The person had to travel in that very unfortunate circumstances, right? So it's an awful experience, one that becomes a PR nightmare for
Yes.
for a
Um,
brand, right? Because
mhm.
all newspapers, everyone's gonna pick them up. All the LinkedIn talking heads are gonna be like, wow, 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 right? It's gonna be like all that volume.
Yes.
And actually, right? So you don't want to be there. You don't want to be on
To honor,
that side
promise. To honor the
of the
promise. That's incredible.
conversation. Exactly. So don't be on that side of the conversation, right? So be careful. So how to be careful? We start with a very small proof of concept, right?
And the
Start with a
orchestration
very
layer.
small, the very small, like let's get something small that is not customer facing yet,
Okay.
right? So maybe we can improve like the marketing process so that we can test quicker, we can put campaigns to market faster, or we can be faster on like the customer service after purchase, what have you, right? So just start with things that are not that customer facing, that are more internal, and then you like very slowly but surely then you test with the customer facing. But again,
Right.
proof of concept, one use case, small. Don't like go crazy. No, it's better if you go slowly and surely, because then you can share those learnings with the other stakeholders and then everyone together, even in a small company, right? And unless it's a company of one, you're going to be working with other people. So you need to bring people together and make
Yeah.
sure that yes, we feel comfortable and yes, we can move to the next step
We
and we
can
can
move on.
test further and we can implement.
Anna, thank you so much for your insight and everything. Do you have any part that we did not cover or I did not mention in our interview that you would like to highlight?
So just that you can find me here on Substack. I am the experimental marketer on Substack,
Yes, please follow.
right?
And I'm
So
going to add
yes,
her.
follow me.
Yes.
Thank you. So
Yes.
yes, follow me for more of those conversations, right? You can always like message me as well. You can find me on LinkedIn. I also have like short videos on YouTube and TikTok, right? If your thing is more about like videos than reading. So there are different ways to engage with my content, and I would love to hear from you. So anything that you would like to share, ask, just please reach out.
Any last piece or any article that you want the reader to go to start with from the
Oh,
experimental
yes. So,
that you would like to
yes,
feature?
from the
Yes.
experimental marketer, I have like different pillars of content. So you can start with future of marketing work or AI in marketing, right? Which covers what we're discussing here. And I also have a book coming up calling the strategic marketing skills. And it's about this framework, right? The proprietary framework that I created to help marketers really lean into the technology that empowers all of marketing activities. So it's to help marketers to get there, all types of marketers from all types of companies. And it's coming up in October. So you will find more about it on my Substack as well.
Okay, so if there is
Mhm.
any other messages, like, okay, please
Uh,
join her and we will wait for your book. And thank you for this chapter. Our book, AI Everywhere, is going to be launched soon. And it has actually high calibered women who wrote not just their experience, actually you share, like we say, the super nuts of what the industry needs. So I recommend everyone
Thank
to
you.
get the books and wait for it. And thank you, Anna, for your time and for this talk. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
for having me. Thank you. It was
No, no, no.
amazing.
It's
I
my
had
pleasure.
fun.
Yes, have fun. Enjoy your time in Miami.
You
Bye.
too. Bye.
Bye.